Well, welcome to the March AI workshop. So we got all kinds of really cool stuff that happened this month in the AI world. So we will just hop right into it here. Uh, what was I? Oh, I was probably sharing my whole screen there. There's nothing on my screen. That's sensitive. All right. So this month, some of the big things that we're going to show here is that, ironically, AI art or image generation really took a major leap, and we're going to go ahead and just show a lot of that. So in past, AI generated art images had a major problem with text inside images. That the text would, I mean, you get much past one or two words, you were no way you were getting that correctly. And image consistency. So if you're going to go try creating, like for marketing or even internal, if you're going to try creating a number of different posts or something, the people would always look different with every new image that you did, which means that you can't have any consistency. And they really fixed that. Both Google and OpenAI went ahead and fixed that. We're just going to show OpenAI, but Google has the same exact thing. And then on a coding side of it, Gemini came out and is really topping the board with AI coding or complex advanced thought. So now most of the major models have both Claude, OpenAI, and Gemini now have, which is Google's version, have a major thought model that we'll go ahead and show here. But for those of you that were on the social medias, here's a little post I made for this morning's meeting that you're seeing right now. I just asked it pretty simply, 8 o'clock, AI workshop, and then tried to give a little bit of how I feel it should go. And this is the image that it generated as a result of it. And as you see, I used the first image that popped up here. The words look like I would have used Canva or something like that to put those in there. I mean, they're crisp, they're clean. The AI here, this here, very, very impressive from a AI perspective. And it takes about 2, 3, and we'll get into showing a little bit here after we get a couple of examples that I pre-made, but it was pretty cool. We have one of our team members this morning, Cole. It's his birthday today, so we always buy lunch for him and make a big deal out of birthdays. So I went ahead and had it create a happy birthday to our IT team leader. So therefore, as you see here, I gave it its image, and image consistency, pretty good. Up until this point, that this here would have been nothing like this first one. Whereas before, what it would do is it would look at the image, it would turn the image into text. So it'd say, it give you an explanation of the image as best as possible. And then when it would generate off of the text. Whereas now it's keeping the consistency of these. So again, this here, that's what I ended up throwing out to the team. And then I asked to go ahead and refine a little bit. Could you make them the team lead to protect people against the hackers? So then it gave us this image. I thought this one was good, except for the hacker looks like he's working with Cole. That's not really a great image, right? So I'm like, I'd like him to be a little more adversarial to the image. But to critique this, the text of the images, very, very clean. This here, you're maybe go regenerate that, but so yeah, that's good. And if I refresh this, it'll be good. Yeah, so that's a much better image, right? Got a little bit of text down here, so I go ahead and ask it to fix that, and it would probably do a good job. But for the most part, words and lettering significantly better. Something else I did is this is my daughter and son. They were playing out at our property. I just caught them on a trail cam, so I asked them to. If you're from the '90s, you might remember the TV show Daria. So I'm like, give me a version of it with Daria, a Daria variant of it. So this did a really, really good job. Like if you even look at some of the stuff we have from our construction project we've been doing here, we got a couple boards and a tarp and barrel as our outhouse and the van. Whereas if you look at the original image, we have 3 boards down here, a couple barrels, an outhouse, van. So it took the image here and it did a really good job of converting that image into a Daria variant of it. And I think I have another one where I did it with my... Yeah, so here is one. We were working out on our property, put it in the dock. So I'm like, make me an anime version of that. And I was just really impressed with the cleanness of it, but still did a really good job. And then I had my daughter was out there helping us. That's the one I went and picked up at Jeff's house. Then I'm like, add her into this picture. And there, seamlessly added her in there, kept those two as is. But if you look at the shirt, the text there was a little bit off. Whereas that says Mid-City Steel or MCS, and that doesn't. So I asked it, hey, the girl is shorter and her shirt says MCS. Well, there it corrected the lettering on the sweatshirt itself. And if you look at even the fold, you can see how like right here, the fold goes over on the S. So it correctly manipulated the S to fit the cartoon character image as a whole. And I was like, all right, that's pretty cool. And then, yeah, there's my buddy Aaron. And you see us smiling and happy, right? You know, just having a great time. But it caught Cooley Tech, it caught Aaron, and the text came through beautifully. That's my brother-in-law and his wife. So I'm like, make them by the river drinking, and they did a good job. Then I had to actually bring them from there back to human life again, and it did a good job. And then I did a couple with my daughter. This is her horse, so I wanted an anime one. A couple of those worked out well. And then we wanted to do, yeah, again, I did a Daria style. And then, of course, over to The Simpsons. So if you've been on this group for a while or watching the recording, this is pretty major advancements in the AI image generation because it's doing an excellent job of keeping the consistency of the different characters, and which is almost about last one I'll show here. Oh, maybe a superhero. So here we create a number, and these would be all great marketing posts, or maybe I just want to put them around the office, or for each of our branches, we normally try to brand the branch manager or the one that's going to go talk to the clients. So we could go ahead and have Aaron's face on here or Jared's face down in Florida. So we can do a couple of these posts and then do a newsletter that has the face of the account manager that would be going and meeting with the different clients as a whole for that. Build cartoons associated to it, or even cybersecurity training, but all giving image consistency, which is neat. But on this topic here, from a live, you guys want to see a demo image created?
I'm actually working on one from a headshot that I have here, so we'll see how it turns out. It's turned out pretty good right now, actually. But as soon as I get it here, I'll share my screen.
All right. Well, does anyone have a an image that get in chat or in talk here? Just give me something to put in here.
All right, here I'm gonna put the I'll put the original here in the chat so people can see it. Or I gotta share my screen quick, I guess, too. That
yeah, why don't you share your?
this is pretty good, actually.
It is very good. It's very impressive.
So here's my original headshot image. It's not bad for
yep. Yeah, and you can tell it to clean up the goatee a little bit if you wanted to, or.
But I just did that in the matter of a minute or two here, so that's
this feature is actually open both for free and paid, as well as a super duper expensive account. Now you get less roles every day on the lower cost accounts, but on OpenAI, it's open on all the accounts, which is pretty impressive. Well, let's do this. Everyone's really excited to see a demo here, so but I'll go and just find a random picture. So let's go find actually, here's what we'll do. So I'm going to share my screen again. Could you make this into a cartoon? And those that don't have a picture, please put a fake cartoon picture in that area. Those with a picture, make it a cartoon image of it. This is for an AI workshop. All right, so now that will take that image there and it will go and start to generate the image. Now, the generation of the image can take about 2 minutes on average. So, but as it's doing there, it's looking at this. It'll probably look at everyone's name and give you name tags or give you, yeah, I'll be interested to see what it actually comes up with from here. But you could take pictures from your production line if you wanted to, or equipment or products, and then give different variants of it. Or you give a product and put it in someone else's hand, or yeah, really whatever you would ask within reason and according to community standards that they have established, it will go ahead and give you that particular type of image. And we could try a couple of these if you wanted to, but yeah, this is just the example of the type of stuff that you can do. But for marketing, communication, leadership, if you want to give someone a special award, you can have them do a custom AI image here and then send that to them. Or if you have a client appreciation, just set it up so that way you go ahead and get a picture or two of that client and send it to them once on anniversaries or whatever it is. All right, I like it.
It's
So
looking
on
like it's
Jeff, you see
coming
it
in
even
like
has a
Jeff's like it's getting close. Like it's got kind of like his emblem on his shirt there, and
it
it's doing
does.
like a Brady Bunch theme here almost.
Yep, it didn't do great on all the names, but it wasn't horribly off. I mean, I look completely clueless, of course. We got Aaron Lever there.
It's my distant cousin.
But I could also ask, could you uh, have first name only and make everyone a little more detailed and smiling, happy, like this is a fun-filled Teams meeting. All right. So we'll come back to this. So as this is sitting here going, and normally I like to, what I found sometimes it'll just cancel out if it doesn't actually start. But if it starts, then I can go to another browser. So we'll just let it actually get going here. And then I'm going to show you, actually, I'm going to move this a little bit. We're going to show you this at the end of it. All right. So there it started. So moving on from here, as this is doing this image generation, another major advancement. We showed a little bit of this last month, and this is with coding IDEs, which are a little more advanced. Google Gemini came out with their 2.5 model, which allows you to write in the browser in what's called a one shot, where you just ask it and it gives you a result. It will give you a working file, basically. So it'll do that some of that software development stuff I was doing, but as a single file. So all of these are single files that I had it create. So on this one, I had it asked to do a flight simulator game. So here I can go pitch up, throttle up. throttle down. Let's see, how do I, oh, S, there we go. So yeah, now I go off the screen somehow, but so I can throttle up if I wanted to. It becomes hard to, but this is all just a little flight simulator. And if I installed something called 3JS, which you can go look at how to do, you can build 3D models of how 3D flight simulators. There have been a number of people in the last month that one guy online is earning $90,000 a month off a AI generated flight simulator that he just has paid advertisement into. So it's this doesn't have a lot of business practice, but it's a simple game you could make. I had it go ahead and make me a mini Risk style game. So if you ever played Risk before, that you'll somewhat recognize this, right? Central Hub, Northeast. This would be Australia, South America, and North America. And the game mechanics worked pretty decent. So what it was doing is it wants me to deploy my forces as red, so I can go ahead and choose, put them here, end it. I can go ahead and attack here. There, I just won this. And I can keep playing this and my attack phase. And here's showing my dice that I'm rolling. So it did all of this just off one instance. And then after it did this, I'm like, I want a little more complicated. So I did a second one and it created all of these. Now I could go ahead and keep asking it, give me a realistic South America, give me a realistic North America, give me a realistic Europe. And then I can go and build this. If anyone has played Risk with me in the past, we have a number of custom rules that we put into it. That in my early 20s, we used to play Risk every week, and we would come up with a new rule every week, and we'd see if we like it or if we don't. So we have about 10 to 15 rules that modify Risk, and we think makes it funner. But then I can go ahead and build a web-based game that would allow multiplayer where we could play with our custom rules into it. But this game here was made within 10 minutes of go into the prompt and then go ahead and just let it run and then saving it. And it's all running on my local computer. It's just a file on my C drive here. Now, I understand that this is a business workshop, and most of you probably get in trouble if you're playing Risk at work. So I decided to let's build a dashboard then for a CRM for a construction company. And how I did this, well, before I jump into that, there we go. So that's a pretty good little image there, right? Everyone's happy. We're having a good time. I mean, that's probably gonna go on social media afterward, just so everyone knows. But that's it's a fun little AI workshop, right? So
It looks like it likes red hair. It favors red hair.
oh, you know what? That's true. I could ask it. This is great, but we would like a little diversity. Can we remake it with some of that? Thanks. So there, but yeah, it's a good, I never noticed that it does for some reason like red hair. Why does it like red hair? Yeah, I don't even have red hair, right?
I don't have red hair.
All right. So yeah, we'll see what happens after. We'll let this start up and we'll come back to this. All right, so there it's starting. But much like that HRIS system we built last time, this here is within a single shot. So before I go too far into this program, what I did for this, and I did this for all of these, right? I want AI to prompt that would define a web-based front-end only flight simulator to the AI. Give me instructions for how to prompt to write it. So I didn't want to go through and write all the detail of what I wanted it to. So I asked the AI to write me the prompt that I'll go ahead and paste over into Gemini. And here's what it wrote, right? It's like, well, it wants it in a single file. It gives me all the detail of that. Flight simulator tells me the canvas, airplane controls, real-time animation, environmental HUD, quality of code. So it gives a bunch of detail in here. I'm like, and I just copy and paste that in there, and it gave me this. Next one I did. Could you give me a prompt that would make a Risk style board game that has a bunch of custom rules in it, all web-based? And it goes through and tells me to create a Gives me all the detail of how to create a risk-based board game. So even if you don't know a lot of the geeky words that you're going to want to use, like you might have no idea what CSS is or JavaScript code, or should you use JavaScript or Python or Ruby on Rails or any of those, you might not know. But the AI knows that, all right, if I'm going to build a project and it's going to run here, here's how I would do that. It goes and creates pretty detailed instructions, which is what AI love. They love a detailed instructions. So as I don't know if serving is the right word, but it might not seem apparent, but to ask the AI to write the AI prompt before you give it to the AI works really, really well. And I use this tool, or I use this concept all the time when I'm building anything. So I went ahead and had it do this. It built that risk game. And then I had it, I told it I wanted to modify it. Oh, so here this is all I told the AI. Can you create a prompt for creating a CRM for a construction industry along with a job tracker? That's pretty minimal. If you went to any software developer and told them to do that, they're going to tell you, I can't do that. I don't have enough detail. It went and just created this giant prompt with all the detail of what it wants. Then here it wrote the code for me. And this is actual Gemini. As you see, this is a lot of code to write. Even if you knew what all this was, this would take you a long time to write. It's still going, right? That's a lot of code. In fact, I'll tell you how many lines it is because I have it over here in a different file. Yeah, it's 1,300 lines of code. So if you've ever written a 1,300 line paper, this here is doing a 1,300 line paper, but only it's a math formula that if it doesn't work perfectly, it crashes. And this is what it ended up being. So you get a nice little dashboard where this dashboard has total clients, planned jobs, jobs in progress, complete jobs. But unlike some of the other tools here, and when I was testing this right before we had our meeting, I was kind of impressed with that. It actually works. And that I can go here and I can say Cooley Tech, Rod Holum, R Holum at Cooley.tech, 608-783-8324, 1805 Granary Street or Drive, I forget which one it is. Holman, Wisconsin, 54636. Project. These guys are super cool. The best. Just awesome. And so humble. Click Save the Client. There, I'm inside the system now. Go over to the job tracker. Go add a job. Big building. These guys are growing. They want lots of space. Click my drop down. I got Cooley Tech in here. Job location. I can go to BD. Description, scope of work. Build something big. You can put your start date, end date, kind of planning. I mean, it chose all this, right? Go click Save the Job. Oh, I need a start date. All right. Oh, yeah, that would make sense. Your start date can't be before your deadline. I mean, if you're going to be picky about things. There. So now all of a sudden I have a job tracker where I can track the individual jobs that I'm working on, right? And I want to preface, I made this thing this morning before this meeting with this line. I told it, can you create a prompt for creating this, right? That's all I typed in, and it was copy and paste from there.
And we've had companies talk to us to have something, I mean, equivalent to this before in the past. Like companies, this is what companies want. The companies want your resources and things like this to track because there's still, especially in the trades, a lot of the trades folk are still doing a lot of stuff on paper and tracking, or even just like in a Word doc file. They're not tracking in the system like this. Yeah, this is pretty incredible stuff.
Yep. But I think we'd agree that everyone on this call is technically oriented enough to be able to type this line, right? So if you can type this line, you can make this piece of software. Now, I will give you a word of warning that if I go and refresh this, it should erase itself. Huh. Well, I can tell you it's not saving anywhere. So if I go to a different computer, or yeah, this isn't interconnective, and there's more work that could be done on something like this. But yeah, there's almost anything you could do. I mean, especially if you just want something quick and local. So something I'll
Rod,
show here. Oh, go ahead.
So Rod, I've noticed that you've kind of stuck in the OpenAI chat GPT model here this morning. Are they still sort of neck and neck, or are some of them coming out stronger in some areas than others, kind of staying stronger?
So right now, what I was just showing there is actually Google AI. This is the Gemini 2.5 model, the 2.5 Pro. This one right now on the leaderboards is leading in software development and advanced learning. Now, this one came out just, I think it was earlier this week, but it took everyone by surprise that they just jumped to the #1 spot, undisputed, and by multiple points. So like normally these models are competing each other on these tests for like, half a percentage or a percentage above. Gemini went oftentimes 3 to 5% above second place on this, which is just a massive jump, right? I mean, it's basically like being at the top of any school and you are 3 or 4% above second place. That's just it's quite impressive. Now, what this doesn't have, right? Oh, something else it had. This has live Google search. You can go ahead and tell it to search Google if you wanted to, and it will search Google for logic answers. It can have, like if you're doing development, it could look up your API documentation for you and bring that in here. What it doesn't have quite yet is what this function calling. Once this function calling is enabled, two things: function calling and API. Once this model is added to that, we can start doing in our, like what I showed last month, the Claude IDE, and start doing development with this model instead of the Claude 3.57, which we have been using. So as of this week, right now, Google AI is leading the pack from a pure intelligence level on a model. However, I think ChatGPT is leading the world right now in usability and ease of use for a consumer use, right? This UI is very clean, very friendly. Everything is pretty drop down. Whereas like you got your main models here that, and kind of gives you an idea of what you're doing. Whereas when you go look over at Gemini, even I sit here, I'm like, which one am I supposed to use? Right? They give you lots of data. I'm like, okay, so that's for that use. That's for that. But like, when would I use this one over this one, or this one over this one? Or it just they're just giving, they even have their 1.5 models in here, but in some cases, the 1.5 model actually performs better than some of the 2.0 models, right? So it just becomes, to me, for the standard consumer, this one is more complicated. This is a higher level individual use that know how to change all these little, yeah. Does that make sense? I'm monologuing a little bit on there, but so Gemini right now is more powerful, but I do think it's more complicated to use, where ChatGPT is right up there with everyone else. Hey, Jeff, you're black now.
Well, there's a lot of people are.
Yeah. All right. So again, what I'd probably do in this prompt is like, I would tell it, hey, can you keep the ethnicity of the people who are actually on the picture and add diversity to those that we're making up?
So to go back to the Gemini screen you're on, Rod, for those who don't know what function calling is, or the significance of that, can you kind of highlight what that is and why that's significant?
It's significant for super AI geeks, So what that allows us to do is actually build tools that do specialized functions. An example of that is like to turn, let's see, to turn a prompt like this into a piece of software, you have to go through a function of, all right, create the prompt first, then send the prompt to the AI, review the code, and then go ahead and output those results. Those are different functions that you can do. Whereas I do those manually one step at a time where I can do this, change this, then move it over to here. But when we go to in our software IDE, which our software we use, it's kind of like your line of business software. Either if you're in accounting, it's your accounting software. If you're HR, your HR. IDEs are the main tool that software developers use. Our IDEs have these functions built into them, so that way the code we're outputting has gone through a number of different tests before it actually gets output to us. So it's more likely, like we'll have a function that will go and review all the code, find the values in there that we need to edit, add those into the AI, and then after it outputs code, does this look like it? Go back and forth. So function calling works really, really well, but it's just most people wouldn't use it. Same as structured output. You wouldn't use structured output unless you know what structured output is. Structured output allows us to make sure the outputs of the software or the AI itself meet a standard that if I'm doing an import like a CSV, well, I need to make sure that the structured output is perfect for my CSV format. And if it's not, it'll kick it back. Code execution, we can go ahead. Yeah, they don't have that in here yet. Execute code in the prompt. This tool is not compatible with the current active tool. Yeah, so that would allow you to actually run the code in here and then self-iterate on itself. Something else I'd say is that if you're going to use the Gemini one, go ahead and turn all these off because none of us understand what it thinks harassment or any of these things they are. If you're trying to do standard stuff, it'll just kick it out. But yeah, to land the plane on that though, what we want to show is that a single prompt here can generate a giant prompt, and then this giant prompt can get put in and be used to run the software. So let's try, can you create a prompt for a small county HRIS system for tracking employees and policies. So here I'll have the AI write my prompt for me. And I'm actually going to go back here. That is great. Can you keep the ethnicities of the people who were actually on the call and have pictures, but give diversity to the ones you were making up or were not imaged? And I find myself now, I'm working a lot of times on 3 or 4 projects at a time instead of just one, because I'm just waiting for prompts now. And normally I'm working on whatever the primary project I'm working on, as well as some software thing on the side. But HRI system, so here's my prompt.
Which is pretty significant because if you were actually building this code and these things yourself without these tools, you'd never be able to sit and go from one thing to another and stay focused and actually have a productive output. So there's some quite significant opportunities there.
Yep. So here we just I asked it to make me a small county HRIS system for tracking employees and policies. It's going through now, and so like here it's thinking through how it wants to do all this. So it's understanding core, file architecture, writing out its plan more or less. And then it's going back and actually writing the code. And then here it's sitting and just writing all the code. That types faster than most of us are able to. Maybe someone on here is able to type this fast, but while that's running, let's see. Yeah, well, we'll review that for next week for sure.
Sorry about that, guys.
All good.
All right, we'll move forward on this, and we just won't invite anyone else. All right. Well, that's a little bit of a derailment for sure. But so on our county HRIS system here, we have, this looks like it wrote correctly. Let me go and save this. Test 4. So here, now we have our employee management system that was just created off of this prompt here. Here we can go employee management or policy management. I wonder if it wrote us a temp. Let's edit this. All right, no, it didn't write us any policy management, but you can go ahead and manage your employees if you wanted to, and it has what department it's for. Is there anything that you want to see added to this?
Can you make it create an interactive org chart, or is that too complex for this example? Like a hierarchy chart?
For the HRIS system, I would like to be able to order to create them in an org chart and drag them to each other. So here it should think through the prompt, and I'm using O3 Mini for Mini High for this because it does a really good job on that. So now it'll add that as a
Are you all done?
add that in there. Let's go ahead and pop this in. So for those that see, I'm just going ahead and copy and pasting those over. Now it will sit there. I click into the thinking model, so it thinks through what it's doing.
You mentioned that they right now when you're doing this, it's creating the software, but there's no way to save it. So how complicated would it be to create something that could be like saved and you can implement into your company?
I actually so I run a workshop with about 30 other MSPs across the country, and this week we did a instruction on how to do that, how to build a local environment. Now you'd want to work with your IT on that because there's more security concerns associated to that, but we do it in a virtualized environment locally, and we're teaching them how to set up development environments that allow you to do a little bit more advanced. You'd want to work with your IT team to make sure that, because as soon as you give a server that can actually run, save, and execute, you basically have a potential that if that was ever compromised, that's a launch pad to attack your whole network. So yeah, it can definitely be done. It just you want to think through that a little bit more. And actually, the AI can tell you how to build those. So you can install web servers and things like that on your local computer here, and just go to the AI and like here, I'll go ahead and this cartoon is probably pretty close to done. All right, so at this point, I think it's forgotten what the original image is, but you get the concept of that. So let's go here. I have a Windows 11 computer, and I would like to have a local web server that is simple and easy to use. Could you give me instructions? Now, if we had more time, we got time. I'm going to run this as 2 different variants. So I'm going to do the one with deep research. This will go and search the internet, and it'll ask me, what programming language do you prefer or framework? You might not know. So I'm going to pretend I'm you guys. I'm going to be like, I am not much of a tech. I will be using AI to do all the code writing. Can you make a recommendation and do the coding for me? All right, so now it's actually going to start on the internet looking around at how to do this. So this will take 15, 20 minutes for it to actually do. But when you get done with this will give you a project plan for how to actually do all the stuff that you're looking for. So while it's doing that, though, I'm going to go with a quick, easier answer. So this one here will take 15 seconds probably to do, while this one goes and does and you can click here and it'll start showing you what it's actually doing. And while it's doing that, as you see, this is still writing the code that we talked about beforehand. So I mean, it's a lot of code that it's writing and outputting.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty mind blowing when it's if you've ever worked with a developer, it's just what it's doing is you just can't. It's really hard to explain, but it is truly amazing.
Let's do this. Testify.
Interesting to see how this one turns out compared to the one we did last month.
Well, the one I did last month is while it's a lesser powerful model, it has that tooling in it. But all right, so here's my org chart, employee list. So it looks like the UI worked all right. The org chart, I wouldn't say was as great. Or usable. I wouldn't say it's usable. Let me try this again. Oh, I know what it might be actually. Let's go F12. Let's just make sure we don't have any data conflicts. So when this happens, and this happens regularly, I just go, that didn't work. Can you do it again? Let's focus on employees and org chart. Ignore policies. So that'll be running that again. So this was my easy version that it's going to go with Python. So it tells you go to Python, how to run it, press Control R command, navigate to your project. So just find a file on there, start your server. And let's say you do this and you're like, how do I do step 4? I don't think it's working, or I don't understand. So here I'm just referencing step 4, right? Like it says start a server. You have no idea how to do that. Understand. So it'll go and start giving me more detailed instructions on step 4 of how to do it. So here it's giving me some, and it's assuming here that I've already started up my command prompt. You know, so here, and these, yeah, this is all expanded just of step 4. So it wants me to start, press Control R, type CMD, and press Enter. That'll open up my command prompt. This will type CD, go to my website path. And if you didn't know how to find a website path, you go ahead and it can help you there. Then it goes, so it took this step 4 up here, which was just 1 line, or 3 lines, right? And gave you a full outline here of how to do it. Let's try. So I've never tried this, but could you create a screenshot or Windows of what that might look like? So we'll see what that does. This here is still searching. So each one of these, it's mapping out, searching, looking for Windows 11. It found this site, this site. It's going through a lot of development sites to create the information for you to do, and then it will create a summary of this and output this. And this advanced or deep research feature, you can use this for anything from how to build it locally from your website to competitive research on competitors. So that way you can have a look at a competitor's website. What products are they good at? What clients might they work with? You can go ahead and use it to search for new products. Like we're using it this week to look for low-end computers that could be used for web-only devices for some of our clients, but still have reliable, and have it look like Dell, Lenovo, and gives me a printout of pros and cons of all of those. If you're looking at a new car, you could have it research a new car. What are the pluses and minuses of the different cars and models? The deep research really has a lot of features, but again, the downside, it takes 10 or 15 minutes for it to do. And over here, this is still writing the code for the updated one that I gave. And you kind of see here how I'm working on 3 different things at once, and I'm just waiting for the prompts in between each one. So I got that.
Do you have something, Samuel?
I was just gonna say, I wonder how far off we are from AI being able to create like a full tutorial video on like walking you through different things like that.
Yeah, it's probably not super.
Doesn't the Google one kind of look at your screen and tell you how to do something?
Yeah, so you could use this one here. Where is it? So you can share your screen here with Google, and it'll walk you through how to actually do it, and you just talk to it. You can go back and forth, and it'll explain to you how to do it.
That's
I'm not going to demo that because I'm not going to install it on my computer, but yeah, you just go to this right here, click on stream, share your screen, and then just start talking to the AI, and it will tell you how to click through. Well, here's what we can demo. Are you guys able to hear me?
Yes.
All right. Did you guys hear the AI in that, or do I have to share with sound?
You have to share a sound.
All right, let's try this again. There we go. And we will share this screen again. Wow, actually, look at that.
I see you are looking at a screenshot of a command prompt window. Do you have any questions about it?
Yeah, so that's an instruction that was made for me. Can you read these instructions that I have on my screen?
Okay, I can read the instructions on your screen. They are about setting up a local web server. Do you have a specific question about them, or would you like me to summarize them?
Well, I've never done this before, so how do I start?
The instructions on the screen start with opening the command prompt, which is step 1. Would you like me to elaborate on that step?
Yeah, so like WinR, what does that mean?
The Win plus R instruction means to press the Windows key and the Air key at the same time on your keyboard. This will open the Run dialog box.
Oh,
Would you like me to?
I'm on a Mac.
Okay, the Win plus R instruction is for Windows. On a Mac, you can open the equivalent of the command prompt by using Spotlight Search. Do you know how to do that?
I don't. Okay, walk me through that.
Okay, to use Spotlight Search on a Mac, you can either click the magnifying glass icon in the top right corner of your screen, or press the Command key and spacebar at the same time. Once the search bar appears, you can type.
All right. So you guys get the concept of that, but that's how you can take instructions like, and actually, I mean, I was impressed that it made this already. So that was unexpected. So I mean, that's exactly what the instructions say, and it made the image for that. So this could probably create images for each step here, and then you save those. Yeah. So, all right, it's not correct because some of the slashes are the wrong way, but that's the only flaw I see in this. I'm gonna go back to this one though. I'm gonna create a new. Could you create a single file web? Now we'll stick to the regular way we've been showing people. Can you create a prompt that would create an HR site that is designed for me to create what were they called? Not flowcharts, event trees, hierarchies,
Org charts.
org charts. Org charts. I enter employee names in and then can organize them accordingly. Oh yeah, I do want to tell it. Can you create this as a single file on my desktop and output the code HTML and anything else that would run on my desktop. So here it'll reason for a couple minutes, and then I'll be able to create that command prompt. All right, so it'll start writing this. It'll take about, again, 3-4 minutes for it to write all that. Employee box will be added here. I don't love that. We'll see what happens. We'll give it a shot. Oh, oops. It actually created the, I only want you to create the prompt I will give to an AI, not the code. So as you see here, it got a little ambitious and wanted to actually solve the problem for me. So that way I don't have to actually go and prompt this. But all right, so let's go ahead and try this. Oh no. So again, it will think through the problem, just like you saw it do before, and then it'll jump into writing the code. And when you're hearing the new thinking models, which is really newer within the last 2 or 3 months, this is the type of process that it's talking about, where it thinks about the problem and then starts to act upon it. Whereas before, you would do the thinking and it would just output its thought. That's pretty small, but we'll give it one more shot. Let's go Rod. Aaron. We'll make Aaron the big top guy. All right, so that's close, I guess. So more. And then you go and want to add lines in there. And so you go ahead and advance this how you wanted to, right? Let's try taking it. We'll try one more. Could you make it so it auto sorts? I would like to add a add names by comma separated, add all the names, and then build a sorter that creates them. I will add a number to the front of all names to give the general level of the org they are on. Please create a resort button and use that number to create and sort them in an org chart fashion. And this would allow you to, if you have a system, go ahead and just get an export of that, and then just take the names of all the employees and just put them in here, and then it'll create an org chart accordingly, and then you just keep clicking reroll if this works appropriately. Oh, it gave me an error, but it seemed to finish it. I have my HTML closeout tag there. So we'll save that. So let's go 1 Aaron, 2 Rod, 2 Bob, 2 Todd. Let's go 3 test, 3 test 1, 3 test 2. So what does it say? Input format valid. 3 missing level or hyphen. Oh, this one right here. All right. That's not too bad. I mean, is there any feature you'd like to see added to this, Anastasia?
No, just, we'll have them by department or whatever, kind of sorted in kind of a more hierarchy and standard or traditional org chart, but the concept is really cool, and I know that it can do it.
Yeah, and you can use Notepad if you wanted to on your computer, and this one here I'll just run and keep adjusting it as needed and have it. So basically, you just determine here's how I have the data. You can even, if you already have the data in like a CSV, just give the AI a sample. This is the type of data I have. Can you build a tool that would turn this into an org chart, or almost just brainstorm with it? Like, how could I do this on my local computer without any server or anything like that? And then go and build it after you have the instructions that it made for how it might do that.
That's awesome.
So are there any other examples that anyone want to see?
Doesn't sound like it.
If not, I think that's about all I got.
Is there anything anybody else wants to work on or get an example of how to use something? Or the floor's open at this point, so if not, we'll end the call early. All right. Well,
All right, we'll see you guys next month.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.